Admiral Jin Woo stood perfectly still as the alien words echoed through the massive council chamber. His hands stayed clasped behind his back, and his face showed no emotion. Around him, the circular room buzzed with the sounds of dozens of different alien species talking in their strange languages. Some clicked, some hissed, and others made sounds that hurt human ears. The Galactic Council chamber was huge. It could hold thousands of beings, and today it was full. Representatives from over 200 worlds sat in their special seats, each designed for their particular body type. Some aliens needed water tanks, others required different air mixtures. A few even floated in energy fields. At the center of it all stood Chancellor Crixtal. He was a Veltharian, tall and thin with gray skin that looked like old leather. His forearms moved as he spoke, and his 3 eyes never left Jin Woo's face. When he smiled, rows of sharp teeth showed. "Let me make this very clear to the human representative," Crixtal said. His voice was cold and measured. "Terra has 30 standard days to comply with our demands. You will surrender control of 80% of your outer colonies to Council oversight. You will also submit to what we call protective supervision." Jin Woo said nothing. He had expected this moment for years. Ambassador Han Na stepped forward, from behind him. She was younger than Jin Woo, with sharp eyes and the kind of intelligence that made other diplomats nervous. She had been dealing with aliens for 10 years, and she was tired of their attitude. "Chancellor Crixtal," she said in a calm voice, "Terra has always followed galactic law. We have never attacked another species. We have traded fairly and helped. With disasters across the galaxy, why are you treating us like criminals?" A sound like laughter came from the alien seats. It was not pleasant laughter. Several species made noises that sounded like mockery. One alien that looked like a giant insect clicked its mandibles together rapidly. Crixtal raised one of his 4 hands for silence. "Ambassador Han Na, your species has a history of violence that frightens the civilized galaxy. We have studied your world's past. Humans have fought wars for thousands of years. You have destroyed entire cities. You have killed millions of your own kind." "That was long ago," Han Na replied. "Humans have changed. We have been peaceful for over 2 centuries. Have you?" Crixtal's 3 eyes focused on her like laser beams. "Your military ships still carry weapons. Your colonies still have defense systems. You still train soldiers and build warships. This does not look like peace to us." Jin Woo finally spoke. His voice was quiet, but carried clearly through the chamber. "We prepare for defense, not attack. Every species here does the same thing." "No," said another alien from the council seats. This one was a Zephyrian, covered in blue fur with large golden eyes. "We build ships for trade and exploration. Only humans build ships designed to kill." Han Na felt anger rising in her chest, but she kept her voice steady. "Our ships have saved thousands of lives in rescue missions. When the Altair system had that plague outbreak, human medical ships were the first to arrive. When pirates attacked the Kepler trade routes, human patrol ships stopped them." "Yes," Crixtal admitted, "but you did these things with warships. You solved problems with violence or the threat of violence. This is exactly what we fear." The chamber fell quiet for a moment. Jin Woo could hear the soft humming of the life support systems and the occasional whisper from the alien delegates. He knew this moment would come eventually. Earth's intelligence services had been watching the Galactic Council for months. They had seen the secret meetings and the worried discussions about humanity. "What exactly are you afraid of?" Jin Woo asked. Crixtal's expression changed. For just a second, something that might have been fear flashed across his alien features. "We are afraid that your species will do to the galaxy what you did to your own world. We have seen your history, Admiral. We know about your wars. We know how you conquered and destroyed and burned. And we know how you learned from those mistakes," added the blue-furred Zephyrian. "But can we trust that you will not make them again? Can we risk the peace of 200 worlds on the hope that humans have truly changed?" Han Na stepped forward again. "You are asking us to give up our freedom based on fear of what we might do. You want us to become prisoners because of crimes our ancestors committed centuries ago." "We are asking you to accept guidance," Crixtal corrected. "The Council will help you become truly peaceful. We will teach you better ways to solve problems, under our oversight. Humanity can learn to be civilized. The words hit Jin Woo like a physical blow, but his face remained calm. Civilized. They thought humans were not civilized. After all the help Earth had given, after all the peaceful contact and trade, the aliens still saw humans as dangerous animals that needed to be caged. And if we refuse? Jin Woo asked. Crixtal smiled again, showing those sharp teeth. Then you will be cut off from galactic civilization. No trade, no communication, no travel between our territories and yours. You will be alone in the dark. The threat was clear. Economic isolation would slowly strangle the human colonies. Without alien technology and trade goods, many worlds would struggle to survive. The aliens knew this, and they were using it as a weapon. 30 days, Crixtal repeated. Think carefully, Admiral. Think about what is best for your species. Jin Woo looked around the chamber at all the alien faces staring at him. Some looked worried. Others seemed eager to see what he would do. A few appeared almost sad, as if they regretted what was happening but felt they had no choice. I will take your message to Earth, Jin Woo said finally. Good, Crixtal replied. We hope you will make the wise choice. The galaxy needs peace, Admiral. We cannot allow any species to threaten that peace. As Jin Woo and Han Na left the chamber, she leaned close to him and whispered, They really think we will just surrender. Jin Woo's expression remained neutral, but his eyes were cold. They think we are weak because we choose peace. They mistake restraint for helplessness. Behind them, the alien delegates began talking among themselves. Most seemed satisfied that the human problem would soon be solved. A few species had voted against the ultimatum, but they were outnumbered. The majority believed that containing humanity was necessary for galactic security. What none of them knew was that Jin Woo had been preparing for this day for 15 years. Hidden throughout human space were weapons and ships and plans that no alien had ever seen. Earth's peaceful exterior hid something much more dangerous underneath, but Jin Woo hoped he would never have to use any of it. As he walked through the station corridors toward his ship, he thought about the choice ahead. 30 days to decide between slavery and war. 30 days to find another way. The aliens feared war, but they had just made it much more likely. They thought they were preventing violence, but they had forgotten an important truth about humans. When you corner a peaceful person and threaten everything they love, they stop being peaceful. Jin Woo boarded his ship and began the journey back to Earth. He had a message to deliver and preparations to make. The galaxy was about to learn what humans were really capable of when they stopped holding back. The first alien ship appeared at the edge of the Kepler system 3 days after Jin Woo returned to Earth. It was a Veltharian cruiser, long and sleek with weapons that glowed with blue energy. The ship's captain sent a message to the human colony. On Kepler Prime, this system is now under Galactic Council protection, the message said. All human ships must request permission before leaving orbit. All trade with non-council species is forbidden. These measures are temporary and for your own safety. Governor Tae-ho of Kepler Prime read the message twice before calling his security chief. He was a big man with graying hair and hands that showed years of hard work. He had helped build this colony from nothing, and he was not about to let aliens tell him how to run it. Get me a secure line to Earth, he told his aide. And activate the emergency protocols. All of them. Similar. Scenes played out across human space. At the Vega colonies, 3 alien ships took positions near the main trade routes. At the mining stations around Wolf 359, a small fleet of council vessels began stopping and searching human cargo ships. The aliens were polite but firm. They were just following orders, they said. This was all for the greater good. On the frontier, world of New Busan, engineer Su-Jin watched the alien ships through her office window. She was young for such an important job, but she had earned her position by turning worthless rocks into living worlds. New Busan had been a dead planet when she arrived 5 years ago. Now it had forests and rivers and cities where families could live and grow. They think they can just take it all away, she said to her assistant, a man named Dongwoo, who handled the mining equipment. What are we going to do? Dongwoo asked. Su-Jin turned away from the window and walked to her computer. We are going to remember that humans are very good at making things work, even when other people say it is impossible. She began typing commands into her system. Hidden files opened, showing plans that had been prepared years ago. Every human colony had these files, but most people hoped they would never need them. The files contained something called Fortress Protocols. Meanwhile, on Earth, Admiral Jin Woo sat in a meeting room deep underground. Around the table sat the most important people in human government and military. President Na Young was there, along with General Hyun Soo and Dr. Woo Jin. These were the people who made the hard decisions when Earth was in danger. "The aliens are moving faster than we expected," General Hyun Soo reported. "They have ships at 17 of our colony systems. Already, more are coming." "What about our merchant ships?" President Na Young asked. "Some are getting through, but it is getting harder," Jin Woo replied. "The aliens are not stopping everything yet, but they are making their presence known. They want us to feel trapped." Dr. Woo Jin leaned forward. She was a small woman with bright eyes who understood science better than almost anyone alive. "The quantum communication network is still working. The aliens do not seem to know about it." This was important. Normal space communication was slow and could be blocked. But humans had developed a way to send messages instantly across any distance using quantum entanglement. The aliens thought they were cutting off human colonies from each other, but they were wrong. "Good," Jin Woo said. "Send activation codes to all colony commanders. Tell them to begin Phase 1 of the Fortress Protocols." President Na Young looked troubled. "Are we really going to do this? Once we start, there might be no going back." "They started it when they decided to treat us like criminals," Jin Woo replied. "We are not going to surrender our freedom because they are afraid of us." Back on New Busan, Soo-jin received the activation codes. She gathered her engineering team in the main facility and explained what they needed to do. At first, some of them looked scared. The Fortress Protocols were serious business. "We are going to convert the mining equipment," Soo-jin told them. "The big excavators can be modified to build fortifications. The ore processors can make weapons and ammunition. The fusion reactors can power defense systems." "But the aliens—" "We'll see what we are doing," said Dong-woo. "Let them see," Soo-jin replied. "They think we are just dirt farmers and miners. They have no idea what human engineers can do when they need to." Across human space, similar conversations were happening. On industrial worlds, factory managers began switching production lines from civilian goods to military equipment. On agricultural planets, farmers started hiding food supplies and medical equipment. Everyone had a role to play. The aliens noticed some of the activity, but they did not understand what they were seeing. When human ships started moving between colonies more frequently, the aliens thought it was panic. When construction activity increased on several worlds, they assumed humans were trying to build trading posts to replace the ones being blocked. Chancellor Krixtal received reports from his ship commanders, but none of them seemed worried. "The humans are responding exactly as we predicted," he told the Galactic Council. "They are scared and confused. A few more days of pressure, and they will begin to negotiate." But Krixtal was wrong. Humans were not scared and confused. They were angry and organized. Captain Do-hyun commanded the battleship Soul's Pride, one of the most advanced ships in the human fleet. His orders were to conduct routine patrols, but his real mission was to watch the alien ships and learn their weaknesses. Do-hyun was good at his job. He had been fighting pirates and raiders for years, and he knew how to study an enemy without them knowing it. His ship would approach alien vessels under the pretense of delivering messages or requesting permission for routine activities. Each time, his sensors would record everything about the alien ships. Their shields operate on a rotating frequency, his science officer reported after one such encounter, and their weapons take 12 seconds to charge between shots. "Interesting," Do-hyun said. "What about their communication systems?" "Standard quantum encryption, but they use the same keys for weeks at a time. If we could get close enough to one of their ships, we might be able to break their codes." Do-hyun smiled. "I think we can arrange that." The opportunity came when a Veltharian ship demanded to inspect a human cargo vessel near the Luna system. Do-hyun's ship was nearby, supposedly escorting the cargo ship as a routine security measure. During the inspection, his crew managed to plant a small device on the alien ship's hull. The device was tiny, no bigger than a coin, but it contained some of the most advanced technology humans had ever developed. It would record alien communications and transmit the data back to human intelligence services. Within hours, human codebreakers were reading alien military messages. They learned about alien ship movements, supply lines, and most importantly, alien assumptions about human capabilities. They think our ships are slow and our weapons are primitive, Dr. Ye-jin reported to Jin-woo. She was a xenobiologist who had spent years studying alien psychology. They believe they can defeat us easily if fighting starts. That could be useful, Jin-woo replied. If they underestimate us, they might make mistakes. There is something else, Dr. Ye-jin continued. I have been analyzing their behavior patterns. These aliens are not used to fighting enemies who think differently than they do. They have rules for everything, including war. They expect their enemies to follow the same rules. Jin-woo nodded. This was valuable information. If war came, humans would not follow alien rules. They would fight to win, using whatever methods worked best. As the days passed, the alien blockade grew stronger. More ships arrived at human systems. Trade became almost impossible. Some colonies began to report shortages of certain goods. But the aliens also began to notice that humans were not reacting as expected. Instead of becoming desperate, the colonies seemed to be becoming more organized. Instead of begging for mercy, human ships continued their activities with quiet determination. Something is wrong, reported a Zephyrian captain to his superiors. The humans are too calm. They should be panicking by now. But by then, it was too late for the aliens to change their approach. They had committed to their strategy, and their leaders were confident it would work. They would increase the pressure, until humans had no choice but to surrender. What they did not know was that humans had been preparing for this exact situation for years. Every colony had hidden supplies, secret weapons, and backup plans. The aliens thought they were slowly strangling human civilization, but they were actually just giving humans time to get ready for war. Jin-woo sat in his office and looked at reports from across human space. Everything was proceeding according to plan. The aliens were revealing their capabilities while humans remained hidden. Soon, it would be time to show the galaxy what humans could really do. But first, he hoped the aliens would come to their senses and end this foolish blockade. War was always expensive, even for the side that won. Jin-woo preferred to solve problems, without killing, but he would do what was necessary to protect human freedom. The aliens had 30 days to make their choice. Now humans had the same 30 days to prepare for whatever came next. The alien fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the new Sol system like a pack of wolves surrounding prey. 15 ships in perfect formation, their hulls gleaming with the blue-white energy of Veltharian technology. At their head flew the dreadnought Righteous Purpose, a massive vessel bristling with weapons designed to crack planets. On the bridge of the lead ship, Admiral Vextar studied the readings from his sensors. New Sol looked peaceful. The agricultural world showed normal energy signatures from its cities and farms. A few orbital stations drifted in lazy orbits around the planet. Everything appeared exactly as the aliens expected. Send the message, Vextar ordered. Governor Minho received the transmission in his office in the capital city of Sol Station. He was a thick-set man in his 50s who had spent 20 years turning New Sol into one of the most productive agricultural worlds in human space. The planet fed dozens of other colonies, and its people lived quiet, peaceful lives. The alien message was simple and direct. This is Admiral Vextar of the Galactic Council Fleet. The world of New Sol has been selected for a demonstration of Council authority. You have 2 hours to evacuate all civilians from your major cities. This is not negotiable. Minho read the message 3 times before his anger overcame his shock. He immediately called Captain Yunji, commander of the Planetary Defense Force. They want to bomb our cities, he told her. They think they can scare us into surrender by killing innocent people. Captain Yunji was in the underground command center that served as the heart of New Sol's defenses. She was young for such responsibility, only 32, but she had trained for this moment her entire adult life. Around her, dozens of technicians worked at their stations, monitoring everything from orbital sensors to hidden weapon platforms. How long do we have? She asked. 2 hours, Minho replied. But I am not evacuating anyone. If we run now, they will think they can terrorize every human world. Yunji nodded. She had expected this answer. Then we follow the defense plan. Are you sure about this, Governor? Once we start fighting, people are going to die. People are going to die anyway, Minho said quietly. At least this way, we die standing up. What Admiral Vextar did not know was that New Sol had been preparing for this attack for months. The planet looked peaceful, but appearances could be deceiving. Hidden throughout the system were weapons and defenses that no alien had ever seen. Commander Jamin controlled the orbital defense platforms from a station disguised as a simple communications relay. His platforms looked like ordinary satellites, but each one contained missile launchers and beam weapons powered by compact fusion reactors. The aliens had scanned them dozens of times without realizing what they were. All platforms report ready, Jamin told Yunji over the quantum communication network. We have clear targeting solutions on 12 of their ships. Hold position, Yunji replied. Let them get closer. We need them to think we are helpless. The alien fleet moved deeper into the system, confident in their overwhelming superiority. 15 military ships against a peaceful farming world should be no contest at all. Admiral Vextar had chosen his targets carefully: the main city, the spaceport, and the agricultural processing centers. Destroying these would cripple the planet without requiring a full invasion, but as the aliens approached, hidden sensors throughout the system began tracking their every movement. Human engineers had spent years studying alien technology, and they had found weaknesses that the aliens did not even know existed. Su-Jin had been working day and night since receiving her orders from Earth. Her modifications to the mining equipment were almost complete. Giant excavators had been fitted with missile launchers. Ore processing plants now manufactured ammunition, and deep underground she had built something special. The electromagnetic pulse generator is ready, she reported to Yunji. One burst should disrupt their shield systems for about 30 seconds. 30 seconds, Yunji repeated. That should be enough. The aliens began their attack exactly 2 hours after sending their warning. They had not received any response from the planet, which they took as evidence that the humans were too frightened to fight back. Admiral Vextar ordered his ships to begin bombardment of the primary targets. The first alien energy beams struck New Sol's cities like hammers of light. Buildings exploded into flames. Streets cracked and buckled. People ran for shelter as the sky lit up with destruction, but the humans were ready. Now! Yunji shouted. Su-Jin activated her electromagnetic pulse generator. The device had been built deep underground using modified mining equipment and powered by 3 fusion reactors working in parallel. When it fired, an invisible wave of energy swept across the entire system. The alien ships suddenly found their shields flickering and failing. Warning alarms screamed on every bridge as their defensive systems went offline. All platforms fire, Jamin commanded. The hidden orbital defense platforms revealed themselves in a blaze of missile trails and energy beams. What had looked like harmless satellites suddenly became deadly weapons, striking the alien ships while their shields were down. The alien Admiral Vextar watched in shock as his formation came under attack from directions that should have been empty space. Where did those weapons come from? He demanded. His tactical officer was frantically trying to understand what was happening. Sir, our sensors show those platforms have been there for months, but they appeared to be civilian installations. Impossible. Scan them again. But there was no time for detailed scans. Captain Yunji launched her fighter squadrons from hidden bases scattered across the planet's surface. The bases had been built to look like farm buildings or mining facilities, but they contained some of the most advanced aircraft humans had ever built. Yunji led the attack herself, flying a fighter that was smaller and faster than anything the aliens had seen. Human fighters did not try to match alien ships in firepower. Instead, they used speed and unpredictability to stay alive while striking at weak points. Remember your training, Yunji told her pilots over the radio. Hit them fast, hit them hard, and get out before they can respond. We are not here to win a fair fight. The human fighters swarmed around the alien ships like angry insects. They fired missiles at the aliens' weapon systems and engines, then darted away before the big ships could target them. When the aliens tried to pursue, the fighters would lead them into range of the orbital platforms or the planet's surface defenses. Admiral Vextar had never experienced anything like this battle. His ships were larger and more powerful than the human defenders, but they could not seem to hit their targets. The humans fought like they had no rules at all, attacking from unexpected directions and using tactics that made no sense. "Sir, we are taking heavy damage," his weapons officer reported. "The humans are targeting our shield generators and weapon systems specifically. They know exactly where to hit us." This was true. Human intelligence had been studying alien ship designs for years, looking for weaknesses. They knew that Veltharian ships had vulnerable points near their engine systems and that their shields had gaps that lasted for microseconds during recharge cycles. The battle raged for 6 hours. The aliens had expected to destroy the human defenses in 30 minutes, but instead, they found themselves fighting for their lives against an enemy that refused to give up. Commander Jamin's orbital platforms had destroyed 3 alien ships and severely damaged 4 others. Captain Yunji's fighters had knocked out the weapons on 2 more ships and forced the rest to keep moving to avoid being targeted. But the humans were paying a price, too. Several orbital platforms had been destroyed. Many fighters had been shot down, and the alien bombardment had killed thousands of civilians in the cities below. "Sir," Yunji's tactical officer reported, "we are running low on missiles, and the aliens are adapting to our tactics." Yunji knew the battle was reaching its end. Her people had fought bravely and proven that humans would not be terrorized, but they could not win against such overwhelming numbers. "All fighters, begin withdrawal," she ordered. "Get back to the hidden bases and prepare for ground operations." Admiral Vextar watched the human fighters disappear and felt a mixture of relief and worry. His fleet had won, but the cost had been terrible. He had lost 3 ships and more than 1,000 crew members to what should have been a simple demonstration of power. "Sir," his communications officer said, "we are receiving a message from the Galactic Council. They want a full report." Vextar looked at the planet below, where fires still burned in the damaged cities. He had accomplished his mission, but something felt wrong. The humans had not fought like a defeated people. They had fought like people who were just getting started. "Tell the Council that the demonstration was successful," he said finally, "but also tell them that these humans are not what we expected. They are much more dangerous than we thought." As the alien fleet prepared to leave the system, Captain Yunji received a message from Admiral Jinwoo on Earth. It was short and to the point. "You have done well. Now the real war begins." The attack on New Seoul had been meant to terrify humanity into surrender. Instead, it had given humans exactly what they needed, proof that the aliens were willing to murder innocent people to get their way. Across human space, deep beneath the surface of Luna, in chambers that had been carved from solid rock over decades, General Hyun-soo walked through corridors that officially did not exist. The walls hummed with power from fusion reactors that could light entire cities. The air carried the sound of thousands of people working with quiet urgency. "Project Sleeping Tiger is now fully active," General Hyun-soo reported to Admiral Jin-woo over the secure quantum link. "All production facilities are online. We will have the first new ships ready within 72 hours. Jin-woo stood in the command center on Earth, watching displays that showed the true scope of human military preparation. For 30 years, while publicly advocating for peace, humanity had been building the largest military force the galaxy had ever seen. They had just been very careful to keep it hidden. "What about the weapon systems?" Jin-woo asked. Dr. Woo Jin answered from her laboratory in the asteroid belt. She was a small woman with gray hair, but her mind contained some of the most dangerous knowledge in human space. "The quantum torpedoes are ready for deployment. The adaptive shielding systems have passed all tests, and the new faster-than-light drives are operating at 112% of design specifications." These were not normal weapons. Human scientists had been working in secret for decades, developing technology that the aliens had never seen. They had studied every piece of alien equipment they could find, learned how it worked, and then built something better. The quantum torpedoes were Jinwoo's favorite innovation. They did not travel through normal space at all. Instead, they slipped through quantum dimensions and appeared inside enemy ships without warning. No shield could stop them because they never actually touched the shields. Captain So Young was testing the new stealth destroyers in the outer system. Her ship, the Invisible Hand, was completely undetectable when its special systems were active. It could appear next to an enemy ship, fire its weapons, and disappear again before anyone knew what had happened. The stealth field is working perfectly, So Young reported. I have been following a Veltharian patrol ship for 6 hours. They have no idea I am here. All across the solar system, hidden facilities were coming online. What looked like ordinary asteroids opened up to reveal massive shipyards. Mining stations transformed into weapons factories. Research facilities that had pretended to study peaceful technologies began producing instruments of war. The aliens had made a critical mistake. They thought humans were weak because they saw only what humans wanted them to see. For generations, humanity had followed a simple strategy: speak softly and carry a very big stick. They had spoken softly for so long that everyone forgot about the stick. On Europa, factories that had supposedly been making civilian spacecraft revealed their true purpose. The ships they had been building looked like cargo vessels and passenger transports, but hidden inside were weapons systems and military equipment. At the press of a button, a peaceful merchant ship could transform into a warship. "We have 800 disguised warships ready for deployment," reported Captain Kite from the Hidden Command Center. The aliens have been scanning them for months and never realized what they were looking at. This had been perhaps the most difficult part of the deception. Human engineers had spent years learning to hide military systems inside civilian equipment. A cargo container might contain missiles. A communications array might be a weapons targeting system. Even simple maintenance robots had been designed to serve as weapons when necessary. Admiral Dong Su commanded the main battle fleet from his flagship, the Righteous Fury. His ships had been hiding in the outer solar system, powered down and silent, waiting for this moment. Now they came online all at once, their sensors sweeping space and their weapons charging. "All ships report ready for combat operations," Dong Su told Jin Woo. "We have been tracking alien fleet movements for weeks. We know where they are and where they are going." The alien fleets were scattered across human space, believing they controlled the situation. They had divided their forces to watch multiple systems, thinking humans were too weak to threaten them. This was exactly what Jin Woo had hoped they would do. "Begin Phase 1, Jin Woo ordered. Across the galaxy, the war began not with massive battles, but with precision strikes that the aliens never saw coming. Human stealth ships appeared next to alien vessels and fired quantum torpedoes that materialized inside enemy hulls. Disguised cargo ships suddenly revealed hidden weapons and attacked alien patrols. The first alien ship to die was the cruiser Righteous Judgment, which had been patrolling near the Mars orbital stations. Captain So Young's stealth destroyer appeared directly beneath it and fired 3 quantum torpedoes into its engine room. The alien ship exploded so quickly that it never even sent a distress signal. Similar attacks happened throughout human space. Alien ships that had felt safe suddenly found themselves under attack by enemies they could not see. The humans struck, fast and hard, then disappeared before reinforcements could arrive. Major Seo Jin led the Special Forces teams that infiltrated alien facilities. Her people had been training for years to operate behind enemy lines, using alien equipment against its owners. They were experts at sabotage, espionage, and psychological warfare. "We have taken control of the communication relay at Proxima Station," Seo Jin reported. "The aliens do not know yet, but we are now listening to all their military traffic in this sector." This was another advantage humans had developed. While the aliens had been studying human history and technology, humans had been studying alien psychology and tactics. They knew how aliens thought, how they made decisions, and how they would react under pressure. Captain Gite ran the psychological warfare operations from a hidden base in the asteroid belt. His job was to turn alien species against each other and convince them that the war was not worth fighting. "We are broadcasting on all alien frequencies," Gite reported. "The message is simple. The Galactic Council attacked peaceful human civilians first. We have video evidence of the bombing of New Sol. Many alien worlds are starting to question whether this war is justified." This was important because the Galactic Council was not as united as it pretended to be. Many species had joined only because they feared being left out, not because they wanted to fight humans. If those species could be convinced to leave the alliance, the Council would become much weaker. Dr. Wu Jin's laboratories were working around the clock to produce new weapons and defenses. Her teams had been studying alien technology for decades, and they had found ways to turn it against its creators. "We have completed analysis of the Veltharian shield systems," she reported. "Our new plasma cannons can penetrate their defenses with 87% efficiency. The Zephyrian ships are vulnerable to electromagnetic pulse weapons, and the Andromedans appear to have a critical weakness in their faster-than-light drive systems." Each alien species had developed their technology in different ways, with different strengths and weaknesses. Humans had cataloged all of these weaknesses and developed specific weapons to exploit them. No alien species was safe from human ingenuity. The aliens began to realize something was wrong when their ships started disappearing. At first, they assumed it was equipment failure or accidents, but when entire patrol fleets vanished without a trace, they knew they were under attack. Chancellor Krixtal received the first reports in his office on Centauri Station. His 3 eyes widened as he read the casualty numbers. In less than 24 hours, the aliens had lost over 40 ships and thousands of crew members. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "Our intelligence reports said humans had no significant military forces." "Our intelligence was wrong," admitted his military advisor, a Zephyrian general named Fluxara. "The humans have been hiding their true capabilities. They have weapons and ships we have never seen before." "Then we need to hit them harder," Krixtal said. "Increase the attacks on their colonies. Show them that we will not be intimidated." But this was exactly what Jinwu had expected. The aliens would respond to unexpected resistance by escalating their attacks. This would turn more alien species against the war and give humans moral justification for their counterattack. "They are falling into the trap," Jinwu told his staff. "Every escalation makes them look more like the aggressors. Every attack on our civilians proves that we are fighting for survival." The war was no longer about alien fears of human violence. It had become about human determination to remain free, and humans fighting for their freedom were much more dangerous than humans fighting for conquest. As reports poured in from across the galaxy, Jinwu allowed himself a small smile. The aliens had wanted to prevent a war by starting one. They had wanted to contain human violence by provoking it. They had made every mistake that Jinwu had hoped they would make, but the real test was still coming. So far, humans had only revealed a fraction of their true capabilities. The aliens still believed they could win through superior numbers and technology. They had no idea what humans could do when they stopped holding back completely. Soon, the galaxy would learn why humans had spent so many years speaking softly. It was because the stick they carried was big enough to reshape the entire galaxy. The sleeping tiger was awake, and it was very, very angry. The Veltharian fortress world of Keth Moran had never been attacked in its 300-year history. Its massive orbital defense platforms could destroy entire fleets. Its planetary shields could withstand the impact of asteroids. Its underground bunkers could protect the population for decades. Admiral Dong Su studied the fortress through his ship's sensors and smiled grimly. The aliens had built their defenses to stop the kind of attacks they understood. They had not prepared for the kind of war humans were about to bring to them. "All ships report ready," his tactical officer announced. "The stealth destroyers are in position. The quantum torpedo ships have targeting solutions. The psychological warfare broadcasts are ready to begin." Dong Su nodded. This would be the first major test of human military power against a heavily defended alien stronghold. If they could take Keth Moran, other alien worlds would begin to surrender rather than face the same fate. "Begin the attack," he ordered. The battle started not with explosions, but with whispers. Captain Gite's psychological warfare broadcasts reached every alien communication device on the planet. The messages were simple, but effective. "Your leaders brought this war to our peaceful worlds. Your leaders ordered the bombing of our civilians. Now your leaders have abandoned you to face the consequences alone." On the planet below, alien soldiers and civilians heard the human voices speaking in their own languages. The messages included video footage from New Sol, showing alien ships destroying hospitals and schools. They showed the faces of human children who had died in the bombings. "This is what your council calls a demonstration of power," the voices said. "This is what they call necessary for galactic peace. Ask yourself, are these the actions of civilized beings?" The psychological impact was immediate. Many aliens had joined the war because they believed humans were dangerous aggressors who needed to be stopped, but the evidence showed clearly that Aliens had attacked first and targeted civilians deliberately. While the propaganda broadcasts confused and demoralized the defenders, Major Seo Jin's Special Forces teams were already on the planet. They had infiltrated Kethmaran weeks earlier, disguised as alien refugees fleeing from human attacks. Now, they revealed their true purpose. Charges are set on the primary shield generators, Seo Jin reported from deep inside the planet's defense center. The planetary defense computer has been infected with our virus. When I give the signal, their own weapons will turn against them. This was the kind of warfare that aliens could not understand. Humans did not just fight with ships and weapons. They fought with ideas and information and trust. They turned enemy systems against each other and made allies doubt their own cause. The first physical attack came from Captain So Young's stealth destroyers. Her ships appeared inside the orbital defense perimeter without warning, having slipped past sensors that could not detect them. They fired quantum torpedoes directly into the fortress platform's reactor cores. The massive orbital weapons exploded in chains of nuclear fire. What should have been humanity's greatest challenge disappeared in minutes, destroyed by weapons the aliens had never imagined possible. Orbital defenses eliminated, So Young reported. Beginning attack on planetary shields. But the planetary shields had already fallen. Major Seo Jin's sabotage teams had disabled the generators from within, using the aliens' own maintenance access codes against them. The impenetrable barrier that had protected Kethmaran for centuries simply vanished. Admiral Fluxara, the Zephyrian, commander of the fortress, watched his defenses crumble and felt something he had never experienced before: pure terror. His species had been fighting wars for thousands of years, but they had always followed predictable patterns. This was something completely different. "How are they doing this?" he demanded of his staff. "Our sensors show no human ships in the system, but our platforms are exploding. Our shields are down, but we detected no attack on the generators." His intelligence officer looked confused and frightened. "Sir, we are detecting massive electromagnetic disturbances throughout the system. It appears the humans have weapons that operate through quantum dimensions. Our sensors cannot track them because they do not travel through normal space." Fluxara felt his confidence crumbling. His entire military education had been based on the assumption that enemy weapons had to cross the space between ships to hit their targets. If humans had weapons that could ignore that rule, then everything he knew about warfare was useless. The real human fleet appeared at the edge of the system like ghosts materializing from nothing. Admiral Dongsu's ships had been hiding behind stealth fields and quantum distortion barriers. Now they revealed themselves in all their terrible glory. The human ships looked wrong to alien eyes. They did not follow the clean, elegant designs that most species preferred. Instead, they looked functional and dangerous, covered with weapons and sensors and devices that served no obvious purpose. "Broadcasting surrender terms," Dongsu announced to the planet below. "You have 1 hour to consider our offer. After that, we will demonstrate why resistance is futile." The surrender terms were generous by human standards, but shocking to alien minds. Any alien who wished to leave the planet would be given safe passage to neutral territory. Those who stayed would be treated as prisoners of war according to human military law. No civilians would be harmed, and no property would be unnecessarily destroyed. But the terms also made clear that the planet would be occupied by human forces and administered according to human rules. The old order was ending, and the aliens could either accept the new one peacefully or be forced to accept it through violence. Admiral Fluxara called an emergency meeting of his senior staff. Around the table sat the best military minds of several alien species, but none of them had any idea how to fight this kind of enemy. "They have weapons we cannot detect, sensors we cannot fool, and tactics we do not understand," reported his tactical officer. "Our ships cannot match their speed or stealth capabilities. Our defenses cannot stop their attacks." "What about reinforcements?" Fluxara asked. "The nearest Council fleet is 6 days away," his communications officer replied. "But our quantum communication with Council headquarters has been compromised. The humans appear to be intercepting and altering our messages." This was true. Captain Gite's teams had not only infiltrated alien communication networks, but had learned to manipulate them. Messages calling for help were being delayed or redirected, Orders from council leadership were being changed to create confusion and delay. "Sir," his intelligence officer said quietly, "I am receiving reports from other systems. 17 alien worlds have surrendered to human forces in the past week. The humans are not just attacking us, they are attacking everywhere at once." Fluxara felt the blood drain from his features. A simultaneous attack across the entire galaxy was supposed to be impossible. No species had enough ships or troops to coordinate such an operation, but humans were doing it anyway. What he did not know was that humans had been planning this campaign for decades. Every human colony had been secretly militarized. Every civilian ship had hidden weapons. Every diplomatic mission had included intelligence gathering. When the order came to attack, humans had struck from inside alien territory as well as from outside. The hour deadline passed without a response from the planet. Admiral Dongsu ordered the demonstration to begin. Human ships moved into position around Kethmoran's 3 moons. Each moon was covered with military installations and weapon emplacements that supported the main fortress. The aliens had spent centuries building these defenses, confident that they could stop any attack. "Fire," Dongsu ordered. The human ships unleashed weapons that defied alien understanding of physics. Beams of concentrated energy that bent space itself reached out and touched the moons. Where the beams struck, matter simply ceased to exist. Entire mountains vanished in instants, leaving perfectly spherical holes in the moon's surface. The demonstration lasted exactly 60 seconds. When it ended, the 3 moons that had guarded Kethmoran for centuries were gone, reduced to expanding clouds of dust and debris. "That was our lowest power setting," Dongsu announced to the planet. "The next demonstration will be conducted on your surface unless you surrender immediately." Admiral Fluxara stared at the empty spaces where the moons had been and realized that everything he had believed about warfare was obsolete. The humans had not just defeated his defenses, they had demonstrated the ability to destroy entire worlds with casual ease. "Open a channel to the human fleet," he ordered. "We surrender." The news of Kethmoran's fall spread across the galaxy faster than light itself. The most heavily defended alien fortress had surrendered without even attempting a real fight. If Kethmoran could not stop the humans, what chance did other worlds have? Chancellor Krixtal received the news in his chambers on Centauri Station and felt his world collapsing around him. In 1 week, humans had gone from helpless victims to unstoppable conquerors. Everything the Council had believed about human capabilities had been proven wrong. "How many worlds have we lost?" he asked his aide. 37 have surrendered," came the reply. 15 more are requesting permission to negotiate with human forces, and we have lost contact with over 60 of our ships." Krixtal closed his 3 eyes, and Admiral Jinwu stood on the observation deck of his flagship, looking out at the wreckage of what had once been the Galactic Council's greatest stronghold. Centauri Station drifted in pieces around the star, its massive structure broken apart by weapons that had rewritten the rules of warfare. The battle for Centauri had lasted less than 4 hours. The station's legendary defenses, built over centuries to be impregnable, had been swept aside like paper in a hurricane. Now, alien survivors floated in escape pods, waiting to be rescued by the human ships that had destroyed their fortress. "The last Council fleet has surrendered," reported Captain Do-hyun from the bridge. "Chancellor Krixtal is requesting permission to come aboard under a flag of truce." Jinwu nodded slowly. The war was over, though many aliens did not yet realize it. In 6 months of fighting, human forces had conquered or liberated over 300 worlds. The Galactic Council had dissolved, as species after species abandoned the alliance and sued for peace. "Bring him aboard," Jinwu said. "But maintain full security protocols. Some defeated enemies become desperate enough to try assassination." 20 minutes later, Chancellor Krixtal walked into the human flagship's conference room with his remaining staff. The Veltharian leader looked older than when Jinwu had last seen him. His gray skin had taken on an unhealthy pallor, and his 4 arms moved with the trembling of exhaustion and defeat. "Admiral Jinwu," Krixtal said, his voice barely above a whisper. "I have come to formally surrender what remains of the Galactic Council forces." Jinwu gestured to chairs around the conference table. The furniture had been specially modified to accommodate different alien body types, a courtesy that seemed to surprise the defeated council members. "Please, sit," Jinwoo said. "We have much to discuss." Ambassador Han Na was also present, along with several other human officials, but the meeting was clearly Jinwoo's to control. He had become the most powerful military commander in galactic history, and everyone in the room knew it. "Before we discuss surrender terms," Jinwoo began, "I want you to understand something important. This war could have been avoided. Humanity never wanted to fight you." Krixtal's three eyes focused on the human admiral. "You say this while your fleets control half the galaxy." "Yes," Jinwoo replied calmly, "because you forced us to take control. You gave us a choice between slavery and war. We chose war, but we did not choose to be your enemies." The alien chancellor looked confused. "I do not understand the difference." Han-Na leaned forward. "The difference is what happens next, Chancellor. You tried to cage us because you feared what we might do if left free. Now you have seen what we actually do when we are forced to fight. The question is, what do we do now that we have won?" This was the moment that would define the future of galactic civilization. Every species was watching to see how humans would use their overwhelming victory. Would they become conquerors? Would they seek revenge for the attack on New Sol? Would they impose their own version of the Galactic Council's authoritarian rule? "Our terms are simple," Jinwoo said, placing a datapad on the table. "The Galactic Council is dissolved. All member species are free to govern themselves as they choose. Humanity will not impose its will on any world that does not threaten others." Krixtal picked up the datapad and read through the terms with growing amazement. "These are unusually generous for a victor." "We told you," Han-Na said. "We never wanted to be your enemies. We just wanted to be left alone to live our lives in peace." "But what about security?" asked one of Krixtal's aides, a nervous Zephyrian diplomat. "What about preventing future wars? What about maintaining order in the galaxy?" President Na Young had arrived on Jinwoo's ship just hours before the final battle. She was a small woman with iron-gray hair and the kind of quiet authority that made other leaders listen when she spoke. "We are proposing something new," Na Young explained. "A voluntary alliance of worlds that choose to work together for mutual benefit. No species will be forced to join. No world will be subjected to protective oversight. But any planet that attacks innocent civilians will face the combined response of all alliance members." This was the revolutionary idea that would reshape galactic politics. Instead of rule by fear, humanity was offering partnership based on choice. Instead of domination by the strong, they proposed cooperation among equals. "The Terran Commonwealth," Han-Na continued, "will guarantee the right of every species to develop its own government, culture, and technology. In return, members agree to resolve disputes peacefully and to defend each other against aggression." Krixtal studied the proposed treaty documents with the intensity of someone reading his own death warrant. "And if a species chooses not to join this commonwealth? Then they remain free to chart their own course," Jinwoo replied. "As long as they do not attack others, humanity has no quarrel with them." "You would really allow potential enemies to remain armed and independent?" the Zephyrian aide asked. Jinwoo smiled for the first time since the meeting began. "Young diplomat, you still do not understand what you have seen. If we wanted to conquer the galaxy, we could have done it decades ago. We built the largest military force in galactic history and kept it secret for generations. Do you really think we could not have conquered your worlds whenever we chose?" The truth of this statement settled over the aliens like a cold weight. Humanity had demonstrated the ability to strike anywhere in the galaxy simultaneously, to penetrate any defense, and to destroy any target. If they had wanted an empire, they could have built one long ago. "Why?" Krixtal asked quietly. "Why did you hold back for so long?" "Because conquest creates only fear and hatred," President Na Young explained. "We learned that lesson from our own history. True strength comes from building something better, not from destroying everything that stands in your way." The former chancellor looked at the human leaders around the table and realized he was seeing something his species had never produced. Beings with enough power to take whatever they wanted, who chose instead to give others what they needed. There, Will be many who doubt your sincerity, Crixtal said. Many species will expect you to reveal your true intentions once you have consolidated your power. Then they will have to judge us by our actions, Jinwu replied. We cannot force anyone to trust us. We can only prove that trust is deserved. Over the following weeks, the terms of the new galactic order were broadcast to every world. The response was mixed, but largely positive. Many species that had joined the Galactic Council only out of fear now eagerly requested membership in the Terran Commonwealth. Some worlds chose independence, as humanity had promised they could. A few species attempted to form their own small alliances, but nowhere in the galaxy did anyone try to rebuild the old system of rule by intimidation. The transformation was not without problems. Some alien military commanders refused to accept defeat and continued fighting as pirates and raiders. A few worlds attempted to develop weapons that could challenge human superiority. Several species tried to form secret alliances against the Commonwealth. All of these threats were dealt with swiftly and efficiently. Human forces had not grown soft with victory. They maintained their technological edge and their tactical superiority, but they used their power only to protect the innocent and preserve the peace. Admiral Dongsu led the Commonwealth peacekeeping forces, a multinational fleet that included ships and crews from dozens of worlds. Major Seo Jin trained special forces teams that could infiltrate any hostile organization. Captain Gite continued his psychological warfare programs, but now they focused on promoting cooperation rather than defeating enemies. Dr. Wu Jin's laboratories began sharing some of their technological advances with Commonwealth members, though the most dangerous weapons remained under strict human control. This policy of selective sharing created incentives for good behavior while ensuring that no hostile power could match human capabilities. 5 years after the war's end, Chancellor Crixtal visited Earth as an official representative of the reformed Veltharian government. He had spent the intervening time helping his people adapt to the new galactic reality, and he had become one of the Commonwealth's most effective advocates. I wanted to apologize, he told Jinwu during a private meeting in the Admiral's office. We feared what humanity might become, but we never imagined what you had already chosen to be. Jinwu looked out the window at the orbital shipyards where Commonwealth vessels were being built, with crews from a dozen different worlds. Fear makes people do stupid things, Chancellor. We have learned to be afraid of our own capacity for violence, so we work very hard to find other ways to solve problems. But you still maintain the largest military force in the galaxy, Crixtal observed. Yes, Jinwu agreed. Because sometimes there is no substitute for the ability to protect what you love. The difference is that we see military power as a tool of last resort, not first choice. Crixtal nodded slowly. Your species speaks softly and carries a big stick, as one of your ancient leaders once said. Exactly, Jinwu replied. But the stick is not meant to threaten our friends. It is meant to deter our enemies and protect those who cannot protect themselves. As the former chancellor prepared to leave, he turned back to Jinwu with one final question. What will happen